I say love, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I say love, you say...
Ooh.
I don't know.
I say cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
I'm just going to get that out
That's
there.
all about snacks.
All you need is love.
Cupcakes. What kind of cupcakes?
I love all kinds of cupcakes. I love big cupcakes. I love little cupcakes.
There's something to that. Are you being serious? That's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say love is cupcakes?
Kind of. A little bit.
Why?
Just
Are
what brings-
cupcakes... Because when you say cupcakes, I think Valentine's Day for some weird reason.
And it's love. See?
So-
That represents
Is
love.
it, though?
Valentine's Day.
That's Eros. I'm going to preach this Sunday, the four loves. That's what I said yesterday that I'm doing. I did these Psalms, these very depressive, every one of them is about reversals. And so I did this for 3 weeks, but next week I'm going to do, I've never done it before, C.S. Lewis's Four Loves. There's Eros, there's Storge, Phileo, and Agape. And so Valentine's Day is Eros, which you don't find really in the New Testament.
Valentine's Day is... What's the word?
A made-up holiday.
Well, I'm thinking... I don't have a
Down.
problem with it, but I'm thinking it's a capitalistic thing of
It's
how
a
can we
shakedown.
make money.
Robert talked me into we don't celebrate it.
I'm always going to accept candy.
I mean,
Flowers, you want to bring me candy on any given day, I'm going to take it.
Little
Do you
baby
tell
snacks,
Greg?
yeah,
Do
really.
you tell Greg exactly what kind of candy to get?
I pick out my own usually.
Say this is from Greg.
From Greg.
Sorry, Greg.
Kim tells me this is what I want. I want this kind of candy,
Specifically.
this
yeah.
size with this assortment, chocolate.
And I'm
That's
not
what I
picky.
want.
I'll eat it all, just about. But I have my favorites.
What about
So, yeah.
us? Do we get stuff for the boys? Do we get stuff for Valentine's Day, or do we get?
Are
Is
you
it just
vocal? Do you say what you? Cause sometimes you just gotta be vocal about it, put it out
I've
there.
been told that we're white Christian straight men. We're privileged,
okay?
so we.
You're getting nothing. No soup for you. No soup.
Well, there's some truth to that. I mean, all this has been built because we tend to hoard everything, and so
I'm just curious.
maybe we should edit.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
We're gonna start over.
Remember,
No, I think this is gold right here.
When I say love, what's the first thing that comes into your mind?
I just think
Cupcakes. Let me guess, cupcakes.
cupcakes. I'm just
How
saying
did you even know that?
Wait, were you
Isn't
serious?
that
We were really starting
different?
over. Because I'm thinking this is
I've
great
tried.
right now.
Oh, but when you think about the aspect of Advent in love, it changes how you think about it. Because now it's no longer eros or even affection. It's a unique kind of love found in the coming of God into the world.
I was actually listening to something recently that was talking about the four loves, and I think definitions are so important. And as he was talking about agape, he was talking about givenness, that it's a love of giving of self. And so when you think of Advent and you think of God and you think of Jesus coming, you think of I'm loving you because I'm giving myself to you. A generous kind of love. And
So,
that really,
like, love is time? Time spells
I think it'd
love?
be time. I think love is self.
Mm-hmm.
It could be time. It could be word. I mean, if we do the 5 love languages, it could be service. It could be love.
What's
it
your
could be
love
gifts.
language?
Mine is acts of service, by the way, which is rare. You don't find a lot of acts of service people. And gifts. Gifts is my second one. So
I think how easily we, and speaking for myself, we use the word love. I love cupcakes. I love snacks. I love people. And I find myself, although I thoroughly enjoy all these things, you get to the very bottom of it and what is true love, And so I just think about those.
We
Does that make
definitely
sense?
use the word, like, way overuse the
Yeah,
word.
yeah. I kind of
Do
feel
we overuse it, or just as a poverty of our language? 'Cause I'm of the belief that we don't have enough words. Like
yeah.
Greek has
Yeah,
4 different
that's
words
why I
that
like
mean
that.
4 different things.
Mm-hmm.
The New Testament came at just this perfect time, and you could use these different words are pliable. in English, love's all we got. Maybe all you need is the Beatles saying, love is all you need, but love is all
Is
you
there a
got.
song? Yeah.
You don't have another word. You can't say I'm strongly affectionate toward tuna. That just doesn't. I love tuna fish. I don't
I
have
give
a-
myself to tuna fish.
I'm in a covenantal relationship with tuna.
So maybe we mean like joy rather than like this cupcake brings me great joy.
Yeah,
Not-
and there's different
not
levels
like,
of
I love
love.
the cupcake.
You know, I think there's
I don't
different.
know.
You love your parents in a different way than you love a cupcake. You know,
And you love your parents in a different way than you love your spouse.
Mhm.
yes, absolutely.
And I don't just mean eros. I mean the sense of the way in which you even relate to them. But you love both. You're
Right.
ultimately committed to both your parents and your spouse. But it's a completely
different-
different kind of love.
Yes, it's just interesting.
But we don't have words. We just say love for all of it. So I love my spouse. I love Kim. I love my mom. And I love red vines. Right? All of these things I love is the same word. So we need another word.
Well,
Hmm?
I don't know what that word could be. You got some words?
Is like too strong a word or too? So do we use the word love when we go back to middle school? I'm in like with you.
Check yes. or
Robert
no.
actually told me that, like when we first started
Do you
dating.
like me?
He's like, I like you. I'm like, what am I, a puppy? Like, what do you mean? Yeah.
Well, you know, some people have said, I know you love me, but I don't feel like you like me.
Yeah.
And drawing that comparison.
No, if I
Have
if
you
I
been
don't
talking
like
about
someone,
Aunt again?
And when I think of that, I think of enjoy. You know, I love a person. You almost, they're family, so you have to love them, but I don't enjoy being around them or something
Right.
like that.
Do you really love them if you don't enjoy being around them?
That's a good question.
And this brings us back to Christ, right? How much did God love us? That He came and lived with us, right? He came and dwelt among us. So that means that you enjoy some level being with them.
And what does love mean to you? Like you were talking about the 5 love languages, that all love looks different than what we imagine it to be. You know, sometimes I think Greg should love me this way, and when he doesn't, he loves me a different way. But that's okay too. So sometimes love comes it packaged completely different
It's a
than we had,
surprise.
expected it
But
to come. And
I think
The
love,
surprise of love.
I
Yes.
think love does try to speak your language, whatever it is. Love tries to meet you where you are and accept you as you are there and communicate love to you in a way that you're going to hear.
Right.
I think we put all sorts of boundaries on love. Like, oh no, like you can, like this love has to fit right here in this box. And I think that's what's unique about Christ is it was without bounds.
And he loves you in ways. He brings you things into your life that you didn't necessarily even think you needed or wanted, and they look different, but yet they fulfill you. It's you know.
The other thing that's popping in my head now is safety. If someone loves you, there's someone you feel safe with. Meaning you can let your guards down. You can be vulnerable. You can be broken. You can be needy or wounded or whatever, and that love is gonna stay there with you. It's gonna.
Can we flip that around though? So you're safe, and I kind of like that definition. So if you're safe with someone, and not only you went all negative on it, if you're needy, you're hurt, you're broken, but you can also truly enjoy the things that you really enjoy without fear of
yes.
judgment
Yes.
or
Very good.
abandonment. Right? You can truly. I know Kim loves me unconditionally, so I don't have to always wear all my best clothes around her. I can just walk around in nasty clothes, and she doesn't care. So I don't have to, I can truly enjoy what I enjoy. I can tell her I'm gonna go read a book for 3 hours, and she's not gonna judge. You know, you said that this was the day we were planting daffodils. I don't know why. She's never said to me, we're gonna plant daffodils today. But that kind of thing. Do you agree with that? That it goes both ways?
Totally. Yeah. And case in point, I wasn't going to say this, but you keep
What's the Enneagram number on that one?
No. That's not about that. It's actually about Harry Potter. I don't feel very loved right now for...
Who had Harry Potter on their bingo card?
All of us. Everybody who knows Daryl.
Before I even met Jen face to face, we communicated for 11 months. My first birthday inside of that time period, she sent me this package, which probably cost $100 pounds to ship, and then it had stuff in it, and one of them was the Warner Brothers tickets to the Warner Brothers Harry Potter studio tour, and that got me. That sucker punched me emotionally, and that was one of the most powerful gifts I think anyone had ever given me, because I had this childlike fascination with Harry Potter. I fell into it. I tried, and it didn't click, and then once I read, and all of a sudden I just saw it everywhere, and it was like she was saying, I have no problem with that. You can love Harry Potter, and I'm going to take you to this place where I think you'll be a kid. And so, yeah, to answer your ultimate question, I think love does let you be safe to be able to enjoy what you
Be
enjoy.
yourself.
In a similar way, Kim told me she wasn't a nerd till she met me. I told her everyone. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just saying that you feel free to be yourself around her.
I felt very validated.
And yeah, that's important.
So, in Christ, all this is true of our relationship with Him. Validation. I mean, the New Testament word is He is our Amen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I'm for you. I love you. I care about you. You can be who you are. There's no sense lying to God.
Right.
He kind of already knows, but yet we lie to God all the time.
Are we lying to God or are we lying to ourselves? I think a lot of times we lie to ourselves.
That's a good point.
For a lot of people, they are their own gods, so I think that's probably true both ways. But I think we're lying to God, not just ourselves. I think it's an intentional deception. But we do lie to ourselves. So how does it inform our relationships with other people if we are to be incarnational as Christ in the world, to love them, right? And how do you love a world that doesn't love you? Because the world does not love you, and it does not love me. It wants to consume me.
We're commanded. I mean, it's a commandment to love. And like Daryl said, it's not always easy. But I think, when you really search to the very bottom of your soul, you know what you're supposed to do. It may be hard to do that, especially when you're not feeling that love back, because we're so accustomed to, I give you love, now give it back to me, I'm waiting on it. And when we don't get that, it's a lot of times for me, you just want to cut those people out if you don't get back what you feel like you put into it. So I just keep playing that in my mind that it's a commandment. And, we're called to pray for our enemies and to love our enemies and our neighbors. And I think all that together is what Jesus has called us to do.
Do you think that most of us live our lives viewing love as transactional, the way you just described it? I do this for you, then you do this for me. A transactional thing.
Yep.
This could be why marriages fail. Because
Absolutely.
it's the...
Yep.
When you no longer do the thing that you're supposed to do, well, now I don't love you anymore.
Yes.
I've
And
always
what
been...
can you
like
give
tally
me?
marks,
What can you give me? Well, I'm only going to keep this relationship going, and that's a friendship, that's a marriage, that's a work, whatever. And when you're not fulfilling me the way I feel like I'm fulfilling you, then I just don't know if I can do this anymore.
Because I'm fascinated by that line. I don't understand what people mean when they say it. I don't know how they define their terms. But I've heard folks say it over and I don't love you anymore. I don't love her anymore. I don't love him anymore. How did you know? When did you decide to love? Because for me, so much of love is not an emotion. It's a decision.
Yes.
You decide who you love. this is the agape aspect of it, the covenantal aspects of it. So I'm not thinking about the world. The world's never going to be transactional with me. It's never going to love me. But if I truly love the Lord and I love myself, right? I love my neighbor as myself. I don't want to neglect that aspect, because you cannot love others if you don't truly love what God has made in you. But I need to love in such a way as I never get to the point where I say, I don't love you anymore, world.
Yeah.
I still love you because I'm supposed to and because I'm committed to it. And to me, that's a place where very few people have I ever met have gotten to that level of discipleship where I can love the world.
I think it's because most of us live with a transactional mentality about everything. You know, the saying, hurting people hurt people. Well, I think you can flip that and say, loved people love people. And if your relationship with
Isn't
God...
that a Barbra Streisand song?
Maybe, I don't know. If your relationship with God is transactional, that you think, even though it says God loves you, but...
Yes.
then you're going to love people with that same methodology. And so if you feel loved, you're going to feel loving. And I personally think, because I've seen this in my own life, until I was at rock bottom in many ways, and I then experienced... Brennan Manning was an incredible influence for me.
Don't go quoting him. He'll get you in trouble.
I'm not going to quote him. I'm just saying that to see...
Love Brennan Manning, but he'll get you in trouble if you quote him.
Well, to see somebody so transparent and vulnerable about his failings, and yet able to love himself because he knew how God's love was for him. I think until we are truly broken and then experience God's grace and love, it's overwhelming and it changes us. Then what happens is we stop putting limits on our ability to love people, because like what you're saying is, I love you, but I can't love you anymore because I'm not getting anything out of it, or I'm tired of loving you. In my mind, that means I need to go back and say, God, what is it about your love that I'm not understanding that's keeping me from loving that person?
God did that to us. What if Christ put those stipulations on us? You know, I'm only going to love you if you do, you know, kind of like the...
Right. Jumping through hoops.
So, and at that point, it's a business transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But so many times we approach Jesus just like that. We think if I don't do the stuff,
enough,
Jesus don't love me no more.
Yep.
Or because I did the stuff, I'm in, and...
Yes, I'm good. Yeah.
He has to love me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We do abuse God's love a lot.
We
I
don't
just don't think
understand
we
it.
understand. We don't understand it. Scary.
That was good.
We're in the same color, on the same side of the room.
I don't know. It could be scary.
And unteachable. I think we're just so unteachable because we feel like at some, times that we know it all and we're just shut off to anything else. And for me, that's one of my prayers, is that I will always be teachable. I always just want to learn and absorb from people, and I don't ever want to feel like I know it, because I don't know anything.
I think our love for other people also come out of our relationship with Him. So
Yes.
So it's an overflow of that. So if we're trying to love other people, we're never going to do enough.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're in the right relationship with Him,
Yes.
then it's just an overflow. It just flows over. It's like those fruits of the Spirit. It's like you can't just try to love,
Right.
you can't just try to have that. It's the relationship, and then that's the fruit. So maybe love is the ultimate fruit.
Ooh.
It is. It's the first one, love, joy, peace.
What I've heard some people say, and you can correct me on this, that
I will correct you if you're wrong. Because I love you to tell you the truth.
well, that some people translate that to say the fruit of the Spirit is love. And here's what love looks like. It looks like peace, joy, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, and
That'd be
self-control.
a very poor hermeneutic of that passage. I would not approve that.
Denied.
I can see where that would be attractive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't even fit anything else. Because in the New Testament, you see some of those virtues together. I just translated yesterday what appeared on my blog today, but I translated it last week, but I cleared it through yesterday, where Peter does the same thing as the fruits of the Spirit almost. In 2 Peter chapter 1, these virtues add this to this to this, and he starts with faith, and he ends with love.
Mm-hmm.
And in between are so many of the same fruits of the spirits. self-control, patience, all these different things. What's funny about Peter there is he finishes with love. He doesn't start with love. He starts with faith and works himself to love.
Sums it up with love.
But then he has phileo and then agape. Both of the words for love at the end. It's really interesting what he does. And you can check my blog for that.
That was a shameless plug.
www.
A shameless plug would be go buy my new book. That would be a shameless plug. COVID quarantine. That's what it's called. Anyway.